Anytime, any day. Why not right now? Stop looking up to your boss and start being your own boss. Don't work for paychecks. Work for dreams with no regrets. This is Cracking the Entrepreneur Code. If you have the passion, we'll create the blueprint. Now, your host. You know him from his 7 tips to build the business you always wanted, and now you're about to hear a lot more. Jack H.M. Wong.
Welcome to the other episodes of Cracking the Entrepreneur Code podcast. I'm your host, Jack Wong. Okay, so we talk about the mentee mentor session that I have with my mentees, and we talk about how to interact with other people, leadership versus leadership style. So in the last episode, I ended with opening a loop, that is my mentee's friends who is a startup owner. And I said, well, based on the definition given by your startup owner's friend, he has the employee mindset. So let me explain in this episode what's employee mindset. Employee's mindset, I want to make a reference back to in early part of my podcast shows, I talk about responsibility. So I want to start with employee's mindset in terms of responsibility, which is how I started this conversation with my mentee. So I said, well, when you as an employee screw up on a project, who is going to be blamed? Well, of course, from a contractual perspective, your customers will blame not you, but the company as a whole, your boss, your company. So at the end of the day, you would not be the one facing the music externally because your boss, your company will deal with it because they have the responsibility for their clients. Of course, practically speaking, in the company, in the particular department, you bet that there will be huge scolding by your boss as a result of screwing up on the project. But that's not my discussion. You see, the thing about employees is that if I have done something wrong, I always have a fallback on my boss, on my company, and they will be ultimately responsible for anything happened on clients or customers. And that's what I call employee's mindset in terms of responsibility. Now, put this in the context of a business owner. Now you are not an employee but a boss. So what happens if somebody in your team screws up on a project? You'll be the one obviously taking the responsibility for what your team has done on the client. So that's why the level of responsibility between an employee and a business owner is absolutely different. Got it? So that is what I would say in terms of the employee's mindset. It's a difference in the level of responsibility to start with. Okay? Then I said, okay, the next thing that I observed is that your staff friend who said that leaders is about coordinating resources. From my experience working with big teams, when I was, let's say, a leader on an event, I've been a program director of several events in my life, and I said, I never need to coordinate resources. Because when I say resources, that depends on what resources. Like when I'm assembling a team, then of course I will be the one doing it. No choice because the team hasn't been formed. So I'll be the one forming the team. But when I have formed the team, when I need certain resources, I will delegate to people of my team to handle that. So as a team leader, I hardly really am the one coordinating resources. Like let's say we need to rent a venue, we need to source for stationery. You think the leader would do it by themselves? Of course not. They will delegate the task. So the sense of delegation is very important. Like my experience working with a lot of startup owners, because they are having limited funds, they are working on very small team, what happens is that they have carried away with what I call the employee's mindset. What's employee mindset in that particular perspective? From that perspective, I would say, well, it is because they do not realize that they can form a team. And the team members are able to help them get whatever they have to get. Now, let me explain this in further detail because listen carefully. The moment you say, I don't have a team, what does it suggest to your mind? Well, obviously, if you say you don't have a team, you would not have a team because your eyes will not see any potential members anyway. So the question you should have asked is, how do I get a new member on board? It's like the very interesting question that we have in terms of the financial arena. Instead of saying, I don't have the money to buy this product or buy this property, I ask myself this question then, how can I afford buying this property? You see, the way you ask question would help you rewire it and see things differently. So employee's mindset is that because this is the case, I put myself into the shoes of a victim and I don't see anything, I therefore would not be able to identify these opportunities. So that is why I said a team, when you keep saying that I do not see any people who can join my team, you really cannot find any people. That's number one. Number two is most people, because they have conditioned themselves from the corporate world, from the traditional education system, they are very, very natural to trust themselves only. In other words, I do not want to trust another person because I'm worried about that person who will make mistakes, which is what exactly happens in school. Because in school, you are not supposed to collaborate with other people or else you will be labeled as cheater, right? Because of that. But in businesses, you always have to work as teams. I don't care whether it's employer-employee, joint venture partners, strategic alliances, whatever form of teams that you have, you've got to understand that you can't be a person working by yourself. But the problem is that even though you have rewired by asking the question, okay, I am looking for a member, where can I find this? So you ask the right question. But now the thing is that because a person finally has shown up and you said, but I'm not sure if I can trust this person. If I say this, if I make this comment, guess what happened? Because you are doubting the other person's on trust, likely you will tell the person, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be part of my team, or I don't need you for the time being. Thank you very much for showing up. That's actually my problem when I started my business right at the beginning. Because Robert Kiyosaki sums up very nicely, people who are specialists, who have specialist skills, trust themselves more than other people. So when they come out from the employment quadrant, most of them land in this S quadrant, self-employed. Like the self-employed will remain self-employed for the rest of their life simply because they cannot trust other people. They are so they're so proud of their specialist knowledge, and other people are worse than them. So the moment if you carry this attitude and attitude that you are always better in your field, you will never have people helping you and by joining your team. So I learned 3 years after I've started my business the concept of learning how to let it go. It is easy to talk, very difficult to practice. But I'm glad that I'm working in progress. I'm not saying that I'm the saint, I have successfully let go of that trust. No, I have still this issue that I need to work on. That's why I said I'm working in progress. But having said that, it's because of letting it go, there are joint venture partners show up in my life. There are business partners show up in my life. There are people where I really seriously need to run a big project. There are people who come in and join my team for a particular project. You know what? That is why the power of letting it go is important. So I come back to this particular incident where this staff owner said, well, I'm the one coordinating resources, and that's why I'm leader. I said, oh my God, no wonder your friend is having employee mindsets, because employee mindset and a true leader, the true leader will say, once I form the team, once I'm able to assemble the team, I will know how to delegate resources and identify the strength and area of growth of each member and make sure that they perform their best. So coordination of resources, in my opinion, is never the leader's job. In fact, the leader should have known how to delegate the task to the right person. A person who is very good at planning, organizing, will be the one being designated to perform this role, isn't it? Right? I know the strength and areas of growth of my team, so I assign the right task to the right person at the right time. So that is what a leader should be. Okay? So then I finally said to my mentee, well, It's very important to realize that a lot of these startup owners, they can't grow big. It's because of lack of trust. It's because of the limited funding, because of this, because of that. But at the end of the day, it's seriously about the attitude, the mindset of the startup owner. Is he or she having this vision, the mission to scale the business, to bring it to the next level? Or is he or she still complaining about, oh my God, the business is like that, I cannot grow the business further. So the mindset and attitude of the person is very important. Okay? So once again, having employee mindset is good when you are an employee, but when you're a business owner, you do have to realize the difference between employers and employees. Or put in this way, employees and business owner, the mindset shift is mission critical. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for listening. This 3-episode series of my mentees and my conversation recently. I hope that you learned something out of it. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. And of course, if your friends, peers, and colleagues need to have some understanding of the business owner's mindset, please share this episode with them because they need that, okay? And let them know, subscribe to my podcast for notification of future episodes. Once again, thank you for listening. I truly appreciate your time spent listening on my podcast show. I'm Jack Wong. I'm signing off. Before I get out of here, be relentless and have the business owner's mindset right now. See you soon. Bye.
To continue cracking the entrepreneur code, subscribe for more episodes and download the Amazon bestseller, Cracking the Entrepreneur Code, 7 Tips to Build the Business You Always Wanted at crackingentrepreneur.com. Learn more about author and host Jack H.M. Wong and book your 30-minute discovery session to overcome any professional challenge at jackhmwong.com/apply.